The old salvage ship Lucky Break drifted slowly through the asteroid belt. Its hull was patched in a dozen places, and its engines made noises that would worry most space travelers. But Captain Jack Reynolds wasn't most space travelers. "Anything on the scanners, Dana?" Jack asked, leaning over the pilot's chair. Dana brushed her short red hair from her eyes and shook her head. "Just rocks, Cap. Lots and lots of rocks." Jack sighed. This expedition had cost them nearly the last of their fuel. If they didn't find something valuable soon, they wouldn't make it back to the nearest station. The bank would take the Lucky Break, and that would be the end of his career as an independent salvager. "Wait," Dana said suddenly, adjusting the scanner controls. "I'm getting something. Metal. Big piece. About 2 kilometers starboard." Jack's heart beat faster. "Change course. Let's check it out." The Lucky Break turned slowly, thrusters firing in short bursts as Dana navigated carefully between floating rocks. Then they saw it. "What the hell is that?" Jack whispered. Floating silently among the asteroids was a ship. It was large, at least 3 times the size of the Lucky Break, and unlike anything Jack had seen before. Its hull was dark gray, almost black, with strange angles that seemed to absorb the light from nearby stars rather than reflect it. Parts of it looked damaged, with panels missing and exposed framework. "Looks like junk to me," said Mac, the ship's mechanic who had joined them on the bridge. His massive frame filled the doorway as he wiped grease from his hands. "Old human design, maybe military, but it's been floating out here for years." "Tom, what do you think?" Jack called to their 4th crew member. Tom, a thin man with glasses and the team's technology expert, was already studying the readings. "It's giving off almost no energy signature. Systems are dormant, but—" He paused, adjusting something on his screen. "That's weird. I'm getting faint power readings. Something in there might still be working." Jack smiled for the first time in weeks. "If it's got working tech, it's valuable. Let's claim it." 2 hours later, Jack floated through the silent corridors of the derelict ship in his spacesuit. The artificial gravity was off, and his helmet light cast eerie shadows as he moved. Behind him, Mac examined the ship's structure while Tom tried to access a control panel. "This thing is built solid," Mac said over the comm. "Look at these bulkheads, triple reinforced. And these power conduits are like nothing I've seen before." "Can you get us some lights, Tom?" Jack asked. "Working on it," Tom replied, his fingers dancing over the strange interface. "The system architecture is unusual, but I think I—" Suddenly, lights flickered on throughout the corridor, startling all of them. A moment later, they felt a slight vibration. "What did you do?" Jack asked. Tom looked surprised. "I just bypassed the main security protocol to access the power systems, but this is more than I expected. It's like the ship recognized my attempt and helped me." "Whatever you did, keep doing it," Jack said. "Let's see if we can get life support online. I want to get out of these suits." As they continued exploring, Jack felt increasingly certain they had found something special. Despite its battered exterior, the ship's internal systems seemed intact, just dormant. And some of the technology looked far more advanced than the apparent age of the vessel would suggest. "Cap, you need to see this," Dana called over the comm from another section of the ship. Jack made his way to what appeared to be the bridge. Dana was floating in front of a large, dark console. "What is it?" "Look at the design of this bridge. The weapon systems, the navigation setup. This isn't a cargo hauler or a passenger vessel. This is a warship." Jack examined the stations. Dana was right. The configuration was clearly military, but unlike any modern design he knew. "A warship," he repeated quietly. "That makes it even more valuable, or more dangerous." They were back on the Lucky Break, discussing their find when the trouble arrived. "Captain, we've got company," Dana called from the pilot's seat. "Federation patrol vessel approaching fast." They're hailing us. Jack cursed under his breath. Put them through. The screen flickered, and a stern-faced man in a Federation uniform appeared. The insignia on his collar marked him as a commander. This is Commander Ellis of the Galactic Federation Security Force. You are currently in restricted space conducting unauthorized salvage operations. Identify yourself. Jack straightened his worn jacket. Captain Jack Reynolds of the independent salvage vessel Lucky Break. We have proper permits for salvage operations in this sector, Commander. Ellis's expression hardened. Your permits don't cover military hardware, Reynolds. Our scans indicate you've located a derelict vessel of possible strategic importance. We're confiscating it under Section 47 of the Federation Security Act. That's garbage, and you know it, Jack replied. This is an abandoned vessel in neutral space. First discovery rights apply under the Salvagers Code of 2187. That piece of junk belongs to the Federation now, Ellis said coldly. Move your vessel away or face impoundment. You have 10 minutes to comply. The transmission cut out. Can they do that? Dana asked. Jack's mind raced. They can try. Tom, what did you download from the ship's systems? Tom held up a small data drive. Just basic schematics and system logs. But Jack, there's something strange about this ship. The logs are incomplete, and there's no registration or identification. It's almost like someone wanted it to disappear. Jack made his decision. Donna, send a salvage claim to the Independent Operators Registry. Mac, prep the magnetic clamps. We're attaching to that ship and claiming it now. What about the Federation? Mac asked. We've got the law on our side. Jack smiled grimly. Besides, it's just a piece of junk, right? Let's see how badly they want it. As Dana transmitted their claim, Jack stared at the mysterious ship through the viewport. Something about it called to him, a feeling he couldn't explain. It wasn't just salvage anymore. It was a mystery, and Jack Reynolds had always been bad at walking away from a good mystery. What are you? He whispered to the silent vessel. And why does the Federation want you so badly? As if in response, for just a moment, he thought he saw lights flicker across the derelict's hull, there and gone so quickly he might have imagined it. The game was on, and Jack had just raised the stakes higher than he knew. They're coming back, Dana said, eyes fixed on the scanner. And they've brought friends. Jack looked up from the data pad he was studying. It had been 12 hours since their standoff with Commander Ellis. The Lucky Break was now firmly attached to the derelict ship with magnetic clamps, officially marking their salvage claim. How many ships? Jack asked. 3. 1 patrol cruiser and 2 smaller vessels. Jack sighed. They really want this piece of junk, don't they? Mac entered the bridge, wiping his hands on a rag. It's not junk, Cap. I've been checking the hull structure. This thing is built with alloys I've never seen before. The damaged sections, they're not battle damage. They're designed to look that way, like camouflage. Before Jack could respond, the comm system beeped. Commander Ellis's face appeared on screen, looking even more stern than before. Reynolds, this is your final warning. Detach from that vessel immediately. The Federation Council has issued an emergency order classifying that ship as restricted military hardware. Jack leaned forward. Commander, we've filed our claim legally. Unless you want an incident with the Salvagers Guild. You have 2 weeks, Ellis interrupted. 2 weeks to make that ship operational and prove your claim. If you can't fly it out of this sector under its own power by then, we seize it. Federation law allows for that compromise. The screen went dark before Jack could argue. Can we do it? Dana asked. Get it working in 2 weeks. Jack looked at his small crew. We have to try. Tom, what have you found out about the ship's systems? Tom adjusted his glasses nervously. That's the weird part, Cap. I've been trying to access the main computer, but it's like it's watching me. Sometimes doors open before I can find the controls. Other times, systems shut down when I get close. A security system, Jack suggested. Maybe, but it feels different, like it's making decisions. 3 days later, Jack floated through the dark corridors of the ship they had started calling Phoenix. They had managed to restore emergency lighting and some life support, allowing them to work without suits in most areas. "Tom, any luck with the bridge controls?" Jack asked through his comm. "Still locked out," Tom replied. "But I found something else. There's a sealed room near the center of the ship. The power readings are strongest there. I'm on my way." Jack found Tom outside a large, circular door, unlike any other on the ship. It was unmarked, with no visible control panel. "I can't figure out how to open it," Tom said, frustration clear in his voice. Jack ran his hand over the smooth surface of the door. "What's behind it?" "Based on power readings, I guess the main AI core. If this ship has an artificial intelligence, that's where it would be housed." As if responding to Tom's words, the door suddenly hummed to life. Lights appeared around its edge, and it slowly slid open. "How did you do that?" Jack asked, eyes wide. Tom shook his head. "I didn't." The room beyond was dark except for a soft blue glow coming from a sphere suspended in the center. It was about a meter in diameter, hovering without any visible support. As they cautiously entered, the sphere pulsed slightly brighter. "It's beautiful," Tom whispered. A quiet voice spoke, seeming to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. "System diagnostics incomplete. Identity verification required." Jack and Tom froze. "It's talking to us," Tom said. "The AI is active." Jack stepped forward. "My name is Captain Jack Reynolds. This is Tom Miller. We found your ship drifting in space." The sphere pulsed again. Voice print analyzed. "Unknown personnel. Security protocols engage." Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind them, and red lights began flashing. "Wait," Tom called out. "We're not enemies. We're trying to help repair your systems." The lights paused their flashing. "System designation. Deadliest. Current status. 76% of core functions offline. External threat detected." "External threat?" Jack asked. "Do you mean the Federation ships?" "Negative. Hostiles approaching. Attack pattern detected." As if on cue, Dana's voice came through Jack's comm, filled with panic. "Cap, we've got pirates. 3 ships just dropped out of hyperspace, and they're targeting both us and the Federation patrol." The bridge of the Phoenix was still mostly dark, with only emergency lighting working. Jack, Tom, Donna, and Mac had gathered there after rushing back to see the approaching pirate vessels on the external cameras. "This doesn't make sense," Dana said. "Pirates don't usually attack when Federation ships are present." "Unless someone paid them to," Jack replied grimly. "Ellis wants us off this ship. What better way than to have pirates do his dirty work?" Suddenly, the bridge lit up. Consoles hummed to life, and holographic displays appeared in the air before them. "What's happening?" Mac asked, backing away from a console that had started glowing. Tom's eyes widened. "It's Deadliest. The AI is bringing systems online." A calm voice spoke through the ship's comm system. "Defensive protocols engage. Crew safety prioritized." On the main screen, they watched as one of the pirate ships fired a missile toward them. Before anyone could react, a section of the Phoenix's hull that had appeared damaged suddenly shifted. A weapon emerged and fired a pulse of blue energy, destroying the missile. "Did you see that?" Dana gasped. Another pirate ship moved closer, weapons charging. The Phoenix responded immediately, firing what looked like energy nets that disabled the ship's engines. The pirates, clearly not expecting resistance from what they thought was a derelict vessel, began to retreat. Even the Federation patrol ships backed away. When the immediate threat had passed, Jack turned to look at the bridge around them. It was now fully illuminated, revealing sleek, advanced technology that had been hidden beneath what appeared to be damage and age. "Deadliest," Jack called out. "Are you there?" The voice returned, slightly stronger now. "System Deadliest partially restored. Thank you for your assistance, Captain Reynolds. Our assistance? Tom asked. What did we do? Your presence activated emergency protocols. Your attempts to repair systems provided necessary pathways for core function restoration. This ship has been in self-repair hibernation for, calculating, 27 years, 4 months, 17 days. Jack exchanged looks with his crew. What exactly is this ship, Atlas? There was a pause before the AI responded. This vessel is Project Phoenix, Earth Defense Force Prototype XB-712. Classification: Advanced Adaptive Warship. Current status: 38% operational capacity. Earth Defense Force. Mac whispered. That program was shut down decades ago. Atlas, Tom said carefully. Why were you drifting in that asteroid field? Another pause, longer this time. Memory files corrupted. Last mission parameters classified. Warning: Federation forces are returning. Recommend immediate strategic planning. Jack looked at the screen showing the Federation ships regrouping. Commander Ellis would not be happy about what just happened. Well, crew, Jack said with a grin that was half excitement, half terror. It looks like our piece of junk just became the most wanted ship in the sector. Dana laughed nervously. So what's the plan, Captain? Jack looked around at the advanced bridge of the ship that had just defended them. Atlas, can you get us out of here? Limited propulsion available. Hyperspace capability. Offline. Estimated time to full restoration of flight systems: 4 days. That's cutting it close to Ellis's 2-week deadline, Mac noted. Then we better get to work, Jack said, his determination growing. Because I have a feeling this ship is worth fighting for. As if in agreement, the lights of the Phoenix brightened, and more systems came online around them. The ship was awakening, and their adventure was just beginning. We need to move now, Jack shouted as he ran onto the bridge. Federation ships are powering weapons. It had been 4 days since the Phoenix had revealed some of its capabilities by fighting off the pirates. Since then, the crew had worked non-stop to get more systems online while Commander Ellis and his Federation ships kept a watchful distance. That distance was now closing fast. Atlas, are the engines ready? Jack asked, sliding into the captain's chair that had adjusted itself to his body the first time he sat in it. Main propulsion at 67% capacity, the AI's calm voice responded. Sufficient for planetary speeds, but not for hyperspace travel. Dana took her position at the pilot's console. It'll have to do. We can't stay here. Detach from the lucky break, Jack ordered. What? Mac looked up from the engineering station. We're leaving our ship behind. Jack nodded grimly. We have no choice. The Phoenix isn't designed for towing, and the lucky break would slow us down too much. I've put all our personal items and important equipment on board already, Tom added. And I've wiped the lucky break's computers. A warning alarm sounded. Federation vessels firing warning shots, Atlas announced. Shields at 42% capacity. We have shields? Dana asked, surprised. Many systems are still restoring, Atlas explained. Some will activate automatically when needed. Jack made his decision. Brake clamps. Dana, get us out of here. Maximum speed. The Phoenix shuddered slightly as it separated from the smaller salvage ship. Then, with surprising grace for its size, it began to move, quickly picking up speed. On the main screen, they watched as the Federation ships opened fire, their weapons aimed to disable, not destroy. Evasive maneuvers, Jack ordered. Dana's hands flew over the controls. This ship handles better than anything I've ever flown. It's like it knows what I want to do before I do it. Adaptive neural interface is active, Atlas confirmed. The ship will learn your piloting preferences and adjust accordingly. The Phoenix banked sharply, avoiding most of the Federation weapons fire. What did hit them was absorbed by the shields. We're clearing the asteroid belt, Dana reported. Where are we going? Jack thought quickly. We need somewhere to hide and finish repairs, somewhere outside Federation space. The Carver's Drift mining colony is 3 days from here at our current speed, Tom suggested. It's independent, no Federation presence. Set course, Jack ordered. Deadliest, can you high our energy signature? Stealth systems are at 54% capacity. I can reduce our profile by 70%, which should be sufficient to evade standard tracking methods. As the Phoenix accelerated away from the Federation ships, Jack felt a moment of triumph, but it was short-lived. "Captain, we're being followed," Tom reported. "One Federation ship broke off from the group and is pursuing us. It's smaller than the others, probably a fast scout." "Can we outrun it?" Jack asked. "Analyzing," Atlas replied. "Negative. The pursuing vessel is a Raptor-class interceptor. It will overtake us in approximately 7 hours." Jack frowned. "We need to lose it before we lead it to Carver's Drift." "I might have an idea," Max said suddenly. "Atlas, does this ship have any decoys or countermeasures?" "Affirmative. Holographic projection systems are operational at 63% capacity." Mac grinned. "Perfect. Here's what we do." 5 hours later, the Phoenix approached a dense nebula that sparkled with energy discharges. "The Whisper Cloud," Dana said nervously. "Ships don't go in there. The energy storms can fry navigation systems." "Atlas, can we survive in there?" Jack asked. "My shielding can protect against 89% of the nebula's energy discharges. Navigation will be difficult but possible." "And the Federation ship?" "Standard Federation vessels are not equipped for nebula navigation. They would be at significant risk." Jack nodded. "Then that's our advantage. Dana, take us in. But first, let's deploy Max Surprise." As they approached the nebula's edge, the Phoenix released what looked like a small probe. Immediately, the probe projected a holographic image that perfectly matched the Phoenix, down to its energy signature. The fake ship veered away from the nebula, heading toward an empty section of space. "The Federation ship is following the decoy," Tom reported with a smile. "They took the bait." "Now, into the nebula," Jack ordered. "Nice and slow." The Phoenix looked into the colorful gases of the Whisper Cloud. Flashes of energy crackled around them, but the shields held, glowing softly with each impact. "This is amazing," Donna whispered, watching the swirls of purple, blue, and green gases flow around them. "No other ship I know could navigate this safely." As they ventured deeper into the nebula, Atlas spoke. "Captain Reynolds, I have discovered something of interest. There appears to be a structure within this nebula." "A structure? You mean a ship?" Jack asked. "Negative. Initial scans suggest an artificial habitat or station. It is approximately 3.7 kilometers in diameter." Jack exchanged looks with his crew. "Someone built a station inside this nebula. That should be impossible. It matches no known Federation or Allied worlds design." Atlas continued. "However, there are elements that appear similar to some of my own construction." The bridge fell silent at this revelation. "Similar to you?" Tom finally asked. "You mean whoever built this station also had a hand in building you?" "That is a logical conclusion, though my memory files on my creation remain partially corrupted." Jack leaned forward in his chair. "Atlas, take us closer to this station." Carefully. As they approached the structure, they could see it was indeed a space station, but unlike any they'd seen before. It appeared to be built directly into a large asteroid, with parts of the station seeming to grow organically from the rock. It was dark, with only a few faint lights visible. "No life signs detected," Atlas reported. "Power readings are minimal, suggesting the station is in a dormant state similar to my own hibernation mode." "Can we dock?" Jack asked. "Scanning for compatible docking ports. Found. Proceeding with docking sequence." As the Phoenix carefully lined up with one of the station's docking arms, Jack stood and faced his crew. "This could be the break we need. If this station is related to the Phoenix somehow, it might have parts or information we can use to fully restore the ship. We might even learn what the Phoenix was really built for. Dana looked uncertain. Or it could be a trap. Only one way to find out, Max said, already checking his tool belt. Tom was typing rapidly on his datapad. I'm picking up data transmissions from the station. Very weak, but they started as soon as we got close. It's like it was waiting for us. The Phoenix connected to the dock with a gentle thud. The airlock indicators turned green, showing a secure connection and breathable atmosphere beyond. All right, Jack said, checking his sidearm. Mac, you're with me. Dana, Tom, stay here and keep working with Atlas. If we're not back in 2 hours, or if anything threatens the ship, leave immediately. As Jack and Mac prepared to enter the mysterious station, Atlas spoke again. Captain, I have completed an analysis of the station's visible markings. There is a designation near the airlock. What does it say? Jack asked. It appears to read, Project Phoenix, Cradle Facility. Jack looked at his crew, all showing the same surprise he felt. Well, he said with a forced smile, looks like we've come home. Jack and Mac stepped through the airlock into the dark station. Their flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing a dusty corridor that seemed untouched for decades. No footprints but ours, Mac observed, shining his light on the floor. Nobody's been here for a long time. They moved carefully, weapons ready. The air was stale but breathable. Strange symbols marked the walls. Some looked human, but others were unlike anything they had seen before. Atlas, are you receiving our comm signal? Jack asked. Affirmative, Captain. The AI's voice came through clearly. I am monitoring your progress and scanning the station through your helmet cameras. Any idea what these symbols mean? Jack asked, pointing his light at a row of unusual markings. After a brief pause, Atlas replied, Some appear to be standard Earth Defense Force classification codes. Others are. I cannot translate them fully, but they show similarities to language patterns in my deeper programming. So whoever built this place also built you, Max said. That appears to be a logical conclusion. As they ventured deeper, emergency lights began to activate along the floor, responding to their presence. The station was waking up. Power systems are reactivating, Atlas reported. Station I may be initiating. This place has its own AI, Jack asked, surprised. Before Atlas could answer, they reached a large circular door similar to the one that had hidden Atlas's core on the Phoenix. It hummed softly and slid open as they approached. The room beyond took their breath away. It was a massive chamber with a high ceiling, filled with rows of equipment and what looked like manufacturing facilities. In the center was a raised platform with a holographic display currently inactive. What is this place? Mac whispered. I believe this is the main production facility for the Project Phoenix program, Atlas replied. This is where the ship was constructed. Jack approached the central platform. As he stepped onto it, the holographic display flickered to life. A three-dimensional image of the Phoenix appeared, rotating slowly above the platform. Authorized personnel detected, a new voice said. It was similar to Atlas, but slightly different. Welcome to Cradle Facility. Status report ready for review. Jack cleared his throat. Proceed with status report. The hologram changed, showing a timeline and images of what appeared to be different stages of the Phoenix's construction. Project Phoenix was initiated in response to the discovery of advanced alien technology in Sector 17, the station AI explained. The cooperative agreement between Earth scientists and the collective splinter group led by Architect Valen allowed for the integration of technologies previously thought impossible. The collective? Jack asked. Who are they? The collective is an advanced alien civilization from the outer reaches of the galaxy, the station AI continued. While their main faction believes in technological isolation, a small group led by Architect Valen believed in sharing knowledge with promising species. Humans were chosen for their adaptability and innovative thinking. Images appeared showing what looked like humans working alongside tall, slender beings with iridescent skin. The Phoenix was designed as a prototype for a new class of vessels that would combine the best of both worlds: human ingenuity and collective advanced science. However, elements from both sides opposed this cooperation. The hologram showed scenes of conflict, explosions, and what appeared to be sabotage. On the day of the Phoenix's maiden voyage, coordinated attacks were launched against this facility and the ship itself. The Phoenix was believed destroyed, and the cradle facility was sealed and hidden within this nebula for protection. Jack and Mac exchanged looks of amazement. But the Phoenix wasn't destroyed, Jack said. Correct. The ship's AI core, Atlas, activated emergency protocols, shutting down all non-essential systems and initiating a self-repair sequence that would take decades to complete. And now we've brought it home, Mac said softly. The hologram changed again, showing detailed schematics of the Phoenix. With the Phoenix's return, restoration protocols can be accelerated. Full functionality can be restored within 72 hours. Jack's eyes widened. That would be just in time to meet Commander Ellis's deadline. Back on the Phoenix, Tom and Dana were monitoring communications when an alert sounded. Multiple ships detected at the edge of the nebula, Atlas announced. Tom checked the readings. Federation ships. They must have figured out our decoy trick. But how would they know to look in the nebula? Dana's face darkened. They wouldn't, unless someone told them. I think Commander Ellis has more at stake here than just claiming a derelict ship. Tom opened a communication channel. Jack, you need to see this. The Federation has found us. Inside the station, Jack received Tom's message and hurried back toward the entrance with Mac. Before they left, Jack downloaded all the station's data to a portable drive. We need to get the Phoenix fully operational now, he said as they rushed through the corridors. If the Federation gets their hands on this technology, they'll use it for themselves and probably destroy any evidence of the collective's involvement, Mac finished. When they reached the Phoenix, the crew gathered on the bridge as Deadliest displayed the approaching Federation ships. There are 5 vessels, Atlas reported, all heavily armed. Can we fight them? Dana asked. Negative. Weapons systems are still at 47% capacity. We would be outmatched. Jack thought quickly. The station. Can it help us complete your repairs faster? Affirmative. If we dock the Phoenix in the main construction bay, the station's systems can accelerate my restoration. Estimated completion time, 36 hours. Do it, Jack ordered. Dana, take us deeper into the station. As Dana maneuvered the Phoenix into the massive construction bay at the heart of the cradle facility, mechanical arms extended to secure the ship. Systems throughout the facility hummed to life. Beginning integration and restoration process, Atlas announced as the station connected to the ship. What happens now? Tom asked, watching as energy flowed between the station and the Phoenix. Now we learn the truth, Jack said, inserting the data drive he'd taken from the station into a console. While ATLAS is being restored, let's find out exactly what the Phoenix was designed to do, and why someone wanted to make sure it was never completed. The screen filled with classified files, revealing secrets that had been hidden for decades. As the crew read through them, their expressions changed from curiosity to shock. This isn't just a warship, Tom said, his voice barely above a whisper. It's so much more. It was meant to change everything, Jack agreed, scanning through the documents. No wonder they tried to destroy it. Suddenly, a new alert sounded. Unknown vessels detected, Atlas announced. They are not Federation design. On the screen, 3 ships unlike any they had seen before appeared at the nebula's edge. They moved with impossible grace, seeming to flow through the energy discharges without difficulty. The collective, Jack realized. They found us too. As the Federation ships and the mysterious alien vessels converged on their location, Jack and his crew faced a new reality. The Phoenix wasn't just a salvage prize anymore. It was the center of a decades-old conspiracy that was about to explode around them. And they were caught right in the middle of it. "We're trapped between two enemy forces," Dana said, her voice tight with worry as she looked at the approaching ships on the main screen. Jack paced the bridge, mind racing. The Phoenix was still connected to the Cradle facility systems, undergoing repairs and upgrades. They couldn't run, and they couldn't fight. Not yet. Maybe not enemies, Tom suggested, studying the data they'd recovered. According to these files, this splinter group of the collective, the ones who helped build the Phoenix, they wanted peace and cooperation. That was 30 years ago, Mac pointed out. We don't know which faction those ships belong to now. A communication alert sounded. Incoming transmission from the Federation flagship, Atlas announced. Commander Ellis's face appeared on screen, looking grimmer than ever. "Reynolds, this is your final warning. Surrender the Phoenix and all related technology immediately." Before Jack could respond, the screen split, showing a second transmission. The image showed one of the collective, tall and slender with pale blue skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Its eyes were large and completely black. "Humans," the alien said, its voice melodic and strangely calming despite the tense situation. "I am Mentor Kell of the Collective High Council. The vessel you have activated contains stolen technology. It must be returned to us immediately." Jack straightened his shoulders and addressed both transmissions. "This ship wasn't stolen. It was created through cooperation between our species. We found the records in the Cradle facility." Kell's expression shifted subtly. "Impossible. The collective does not share technology with lesser species." "But some of you did," Jack countered. "A group led by someone called Architect Balin. They believed in cooperation rather than isolation." A flicker of something, recognition, concern, passed across Kell's face. "Captain Reynolds," Ellis cut in, "whatever you think you know, you're out of your depth. That ship is classified military hardware. Your salvage claim is denied." Jack turned to Tom. "Send them both the historical files we found. Just the overview, not the technical data." As the files transferred, Jack leaned close to Dana and whispered, "How long until the Phoenix is fully operational?" "Atlas says another 4 hours," she whispered back. "But the Federation ships will be in weapons range in less than 1. On screen, both Ellis and Kell had fallen silent as they reviewed the files. Ellis looked increasingly uncomfortable, while Kell's expression was unreadable. "This changes nothing," Ellis finally said. "That technology rightfully belongs to the Federation. Your Federation didn't build it." Kell responded coldly. "These files confirm collective involvement, which means it belongs to us." Jack saw his opening. "It belongs to neither of you. The Phoenix was built by people from both our worlds who believed in something better than secrecy and control. It was meant to be the first of a new fleet that would benefit everyone." "A naive dream," Ellis scoffed. "Perhaps not," a new voice said. A third transmission appeared on the screen. This collective member was older, with deeper blue skin marked with what looked like silver patterns. "I am Elder Valen. Once I was known as Architect Balin." Jack's crew exchanged shocked glances. "Impossible," Kell said. "Architect Valen was executed for treason 30 years ago." Valen smiled slightly. "A fabrication to protect our work. I have monitored the Phoenix project from hiding all these years, waiting for the right moment." "The right moment for what?" Jack asked. "For the Phoenix to rise again," Valen said simply. "Captain Reynolds, your discovery was not accidental. Your salvage ship was guided to that asteroid field through subtle manipulations of your navigation data." "You've been watching us?" Jack asked, surprised. "I have been watching for someone worthy," Valen corrected. "Someone not bound by the prejudices and politics that doomed our project 30 years ago. Your actions, your determination to understand rather than simply possess, suggest you might be such people." Without warning, a new ship appeared near Valen's vessel, It seemed to materialize out of nowhere, far larger than any of the others. "A harvester," Kel exclaimed, actual fear in his voice. "How did it find us?" "What's a harvester?" Mac asked. "A machine race," Ellis explained, his own voice tight with concern. "They scavenge advanced technology, incorporating it into themselves. They're ruthless and nearly unstoppable." The massive harvester ship began launching smaller vessels toward both the Federation ships and the collective vessels. "All ships, defensive formation," Ellis ordered, his transmission broadcasting widely now. "Captain Reynolds." Atlas suddenly interrupted. "Integration with Cradle facility at 94%. Emergency protocols available." "What emergency protocols?" Jack asked. "Final transformation sequence. The Phoenix's true form can be activated now. Though weapon systems will remain at 70% capacity." Jack made his decision. "Do it, Atlas." The lights on the bridge dimmed momentarily. Throughout the ship, they could hear the sound of metal shifting and systems powering up. On the external cameras, they watched in amazement as the Phoenix's hull began to change. The seemingly damaged sections smoothly reformed into sleek armored plates. Hidden weapon ports appeared along the sides. The entire ship seemed to elongate slightly, becoming more streamlined and elegant. "Phoenix transformation at 100%. Atlas announced, its voice somehow fuller and more confident. "All primary systems online. True form achieved." "Break docking clamps," Jack ordered. "Donna, take us out." The Phoenix detached from the Cradle facility and glided forward, now a gleaming silver vessel that looked nothing like the battered derelict they had found. "Atlas, open a channel to all ships," Jack said. When the channel was open, Jack spoke clearly. "This is Captain Jack Reynolds of the Phoenix. The Harvester is a threat to us all. We propose a temporary alliance." "And why would we ally with you?" Kel asked suspiciously. "Because the Phoenix was designed to fight exactly this kind of threat," Jack replied. "The files we found show that the Harvesters were appearing more frequently 30 years ago. The Phoenix Project was partly created as a defense against them." As if to demonstrate his point, a Harvester attack ship fired on the Phoenix. Instead of trying to evade, the Phoenix held position. The energy weapon hit their shields, which glowed briefly, but instead of dissipating, the energy seemed to be absorbed. "Weapons charged using enemy fire," Atlas reported. "Ready to engage." "Target the Harvester attack ships only," Jack ordered. "Show them what we can do." The Phoenix moved with incredible grace, its weapons firing with precision that left both the Federation and collective forces watching in amazement. In minutes, the smaller Harvester vessels were disabled or destroyed. The main Harvester ship began to retreat, apparently recognizing the threat. "It's leaving," Donna said with relief. "Not for long." Valen's voice came through. "It will return with reinforcements, unless we act now." "What do you suggest?" Ellis asked, seeming to have forgotten his earlier hostility in the face of this greater threat. "A demonstration of what cooperation can achieve," Valen replied. "Captain Reynolds, the Phoenix carries a weapon system designed specifically against Harvester technology. Will you use it?" Jack hesitated only briefly. "Atlas, do we have such a weapon?" "Affirmative. Harmony Pulse charged at 82%, sufficient to disable the Harvester flagship." "Do it," Jack ordered. The Phoenix's bow began to glow with swirling colors of blue and silver. A pulse of energy shot forward, striking the retreating Harvester ship. Rather than exploding, the massive vessel simply went dark, its systems completely shut down. In the silence that followed, Jack addressed all the ships. "This is what we can accomplish together. The Phoenix isn't just a warship. It's a symbol of what's possible when we share knowledge instead of hoarding it." 3 days later, in neutral space, representatives from Earth, the Federation, and both factions of the Collective gathered on the Phoenix. Jack and his crew stood proudly as a historic agreement was signed. The Phoenix would become the flagship of a new joint fleet with Jack as its captain. The technology would be shared, but with careful oversight to prevent misuse. And the cradle facility would be reactivated to build more ships designed for exploration and defense, not conquest. As the dignitaries departed, Jack stood alone on the observation deck, looking out at the stars. Quite a change from salvaging space junk. Deadliest commented, its voice coming through a nearby speaker. Jack smiled. Not really. We're still finding value in things others overlooked. Where shall we go first, Captain? Deadliest asked. Jack considered for a moment, then grinned. Everywhere. Deadliest. We're going to go everywhere. The Phoenix's engines hummed to life, and the ship that had once been dismissed as a piece of junk streaked into the darkness, leaving a trail of silver light behind it, a beacon of hope for a new future among the stars. Commander James Walker floated in silence, his breath fogging the inside of his helmet as he stared at the impossible sight before him. The old warship hung motionless among the asteroids, its dark hull reflecting little of the distant starlight. "Sir, you need to see this," his second-in-command said through the comlink, breaking the silence. Walker pushed himself forward, magnetic boots clicking as they reconnected with the deck of their small salvage vessel. "I'm looking at it, Tom. I just can't believe it." According to every military record, the CSS Phantom, a prototype stealth destroyer, had been destroyed 50 years ago during the early battles of the Galactic War. Yet here it floated, seemingly intact but abandoned, its hull scarred but remarkably preserved in the vacuum of space. "Scans show minimal power readings," reported Lisa, their tech specialist. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing control panel. "Life support is offline, but there's still emergency power in some sections." Walker nodded. "Any signs of the crew?" "No life signs detected," Lisa answered, her voice flat. "If anyone survived whatever happened here, they're long gone now." Their salvage team had been tasked with investigating the derelict after automated mining drones detected its energy signature. Humanity was losing the war against the Vex Dominion, an expansionist alien empire with superior numbers and technology. Every resource counted now, especially military hardware that could be reused. "Prepare boarding equipment," Walker ordered. "Tom, Lisa, you're with me. Davis, keep the engines hot and ready for a quick exit if needed." Davis, their pilot, gave a thumbs up from his chair. "Yes, sir. Be careful in there. Ghost ships give me the creeps." "It's not a ghost ship," Walker said firmly. "Just an old wreck someone forgot to clean up." But as their small shuttle approached the Phantom's main airlock, Walker couldn't shake the feeling that he was wrong. Something about the ship's presence felt wrong. Like finding a grave that had been disturbed. The airlock cycled with surprising ease, considering how long the ship had been abandoned. Walker led the way, flashlight cutting through the darkness of the main corridor. "Emergency lighting still works," Tom said with surprise as dim blue lights flickered to life along the floor, responding to their movement. "The AI power management system must still be operational at a basic level," Lisa said, checking her scanner. "Amazing engineering to last this long." They moved deeper into the ship, passing through crew quarters that looked as if they had been left in a hurry. Personal items still remained in some rooms: photographs, books, small tokens from Earth and the colonies. In one room, a chess game sat unfinished, two kings facing off with only a few pieces remaining on the board. Where did they all go? Tom wondered aloud, picking up a tarnished silver watch from a bedside table. Walker shook his head. "Let's check the bridge. Maybe the ship's logs can tell us." The bridge was in better condition than expected. When Lisa connected her equipment to the main console, several screens flickered to life, bathing the dark room in a pale glow. "Most systems are in standby mode," she reported. "I can access the ship's logs, but many files are damaged or encrypted." "Show me what you can get," Walker ordered, moving to stand behind her. The captain's final log appeared on screen, the image distorted and broken in places. "Day 457 since deployment. We've sustained critical damage in the ambush at Proxima Station. Half the crew is gone. The phase shift drive overloaded during our escape, but Chief Engineer Mills believes he can stabilize it for one more jump. The Vex think they've destroyed us. Let them believe that. We will become the ghost that haunts them across the stars. If anyone finds this ship after we're gone, she's yours now. Make them pay for what they've done to Earth. This is Captain Reynolds, signing off. The log ended, leaving them in silence. Phase shift drive, Tom asked. I've never heard of that technology. Lisa's eyes widened. It was theoretical, a propulsion system that could partially shift matter into another dimension. But it never went beyond the planning stages. Apparently it did, Walker said, moving toward the captain's chair. And this ship had it. As he touched the main control panel, the lights on the bridge suddenly brightened. A holographic display appeared in the center of the room, flickering and unstable. Authentication required, announced a mechanical voice, distorted by decades of disuse. Identify yourself or defensive measures will be activated. Walker hesitated, then straightened his back. Commander James Walker, Earth Defense Fleet, ID 47291A. There was a long pause. Then, Earth Defense Fleet recognized. Processing authorization. Acceptable substitute for command chain. Access granted to limited systems. The hologram stabilized, forming into the shape of a ship, the Phantom, with highlighted sections showing damage and functioning systems. Welcome aboard the CSS Phantom. Commander, the ship's AI continued. I am ARIA, Advanced Reconnaissance Intelligence Assistant. My systems are operating at 43% capacity. Experimental weapon systems intact. Main phase shift drive damaged but functional. Awaiting orders. Walker exchanged stunned looks with his team. ARIA, he said slowly, what happened to the original crew? The hologram flickered. Captain Reynolds and remaining crew members utilized emergency phase shift protocols following critical battle damage. Escape pods were launched during dimensional transition. Crew fate unknown. High probability of dimensional displacement. They're gone, Lisa whispered. Trapped between dimensions or scattered across space. Walker felt a chill run down his spine. He looked around at the ghost ship that had come back from the dead. A relic from the early days of a war humanity was now losing. ARIA, can this ship still fight? He asked. The hologram pulsed brighter. Affirmative, Commander. The Phantom was designed to wage war from the shadows. Primary weapon systems require minimal repair. Phase shift capability at 22% efficiency, sufficient for short tactical jumps. Walker made his decision. Lisa, download everything you can about this ship's systems. Tom, do a quick inventory of supplies and weapons. I need to contact Proxima Station. Sir. Tom looked confused. About the salvage. Walker shook his head, a grim smile forming on his face. Not about salvage. About recommissioning. The war just changed, people. The Vex think they have us beaten, but they've never fought a ghost before. As his team hurried to their tasks, Walker looked out through the bridge viewport at the stars beyond. Somewhere out there, the Vex Dominion continued its push toward the last human colonies. They had no idea what was about to hit them. The ghost warship that shouldn't exist was about to return to the battlefield. Absolutely not. Admiral Thompson slammed his fist on the table, making the digital displays jump. That relic is 50 years outdated. It's a museum piece, not a weapon. Commander Walker stood his ground in the crowded war room of Proxima Station. Around them, officers moved quickly between stations, tracking the advancing Vex fleet on the large holographic display that dominated the center of the room. Sir, with all due respect, the Phantom has technology we've never seen before, Walker argued. The phase shift drive alone could change everything. Phase shift technology was abandoned decades ago, Thompson countered. Too unstable. Too dangerous. We lost 3 research teams trying to make it work. Yet here it is, working, Walker said. He activated his tablet, showing the scans Lisa had taken from the Phantom. The ship survived its supposed destruction because it partially existed outside our dimension. That's why no one found it for 50 years. Thompson frowned, but Walker could see the flicker of interest in his eyes. Humanity needed something, anything, to turn the tide. Earth had fallen 6 months ago. The colonies were being picked off one by one. Proxima Station was among the last major military outposts still standing. "I'll have our engineers look at the data," Thompson finally said. "But I'm not risking resources on false hope." Walker dismissed. Walker left the war room, frustration evident in his quick steps. In the corridor, he found Tom and Lisa waiting for him. "No luck?" Tom asked, falling into step beside him. "They'll study it to death while the Vex finish us off," Walker said. "We need to move faster." "There's someone you should meet," Lisa said quietly. "Dr. Emily Reeves. She's the station's chief engineer, and she's been working on stealth technology for years. I showed her some of our scans. She's excited." Dr. Reeves didn't look excited. She looked scared. Her hands trembled slightly as she examined the data on her lab screens. The engineering bay was quiet this late in the station's night cycle, giving them privacy. "This shouldn't be possible," she whispered, zooming in on the scan of the phase shift drive. "We theorized about this, but the power requirements alone should have." "But it works," Walker pressed. "The question is, can we get it fully operational again?" Reeves pushed her dark hair away from her face, thinking, "Maybe. The principles are sound, just far ahead of what we thought possible 50 years ago." She looked up at Walker. "I need to see it. The real thing, not just scans." "Admiral Thompson isn't giving permission anytime soon," Tom pointed out. Walker made his decision. "We don't need permission to continue salvage operations. Our team is already assigned to the recovery. We'll take Dr. Reeves back with us to do a thorough assessment of the ship's value." Lisa looked worried. "That's bending the rules pretty far, Commander." "The Vex don't play by rules," Walker replied. "Neither should we." The Phantom waited for them in the asteroid field, exactly as they had left it. As their shuttle docked, Walker noticed new energy readings from the ship. "RIA has been busy," he noted. "More systems are online than before." Inside, the ghost ship was no longer dark. Emergency lighting had given way to standard illumination in the main corridors. The bridge was fully powered when they arrived, ARI's hologram floating above the central console. "Welcome back, Commander Walker," the AI greeted them. "I have completed basic system diagnostics and initiated repair protocols using maintenance drones." Dr. Reeves stared at the hologram, then at the bridge around them. "This is incredible," she breathed. "The computing power alone is beyond what we use now. And you're saying this is 50 years old?" 53 years, 2 months, and 17 days since commission," Araya corrected. "The Phantom was built using experimental technology that was classified beyond top secret. Only 3 such vessels were planned. I have no records of the others being completed." Reeves moved to the engineering station, fingers flying over the controls. "Show me the phase shift drive specifications." Schematics appeared on the screen. Reeves studied them, her expression growing more amazed by the minute. "It doesn't just bend light like our current stealth systems," she explained to the others. "It partially shifts the ship out of normal spacetime. The Phantom isn't just invisible. Parts of it literally don't exist in our dimension when the system is active." "Can you fix it?" Walker asked. Reeves hesitated. "It's damaged, but the core technology is intact. With ARIA's help, yes, I think so. But we're talking about bending the fabric of reality here. One mistake, and we could end up scattered across dimensions. Or we could have the one weapon the Vex would never expect," Walker said. "How long?" 3 days, maybe 4, Reeves estimated. "Some components will need to be fabricated." Walker nodded. "Make a list. Tom and I will get what you need from the station." "Station alert. Station alert." The announcement blared through their comms devices. All personnel to battle stations. Vex fleet detected approaching Proxima. This is not a drill. They stared at each other in shock. The Vex weren't supposed to reach Proxima for another week. Araya, what's the status of the Phantom's weapon systems? Walker demanded. Main rail guns at 62% capacity. Missile bays operational but empty. Point defense systems functional. Engines at 78% efficiency. Phase shift drive currently offline. Walker made a quick decision. Dr. Reeves, how fast can you get the main engines online for conventional travel? 20 minutes, maybe less with Araya's help. Do it, Walker ordered. Lisa, contact Davis. Tell him to get our salvage ship back to the station. We're taking the Phantom. Sir, Tom looked concerned. We're stealing the ship. Not stealing. Recommissioning. Walker moved to the captain's chair. Araya. Transfer command protocols to me. Authorization. Walker, James, Commander, Earth Defense Fleet. Command transfer complete. Araya confirmed. Awaiting orders, Captain. On the main viewer, they could see distant flashes as the first Vex ships engaged Proxima's outer defenses. The station wouldn't hold for long against a full attack force. Tom, find us a crew, Walker said. Anyone from the salvage team who wants to volunteer. We need people at critical stations. What's the plan? Lisa asked, already working to configure the communications array. Walker's expression hardened. We're going to remind the Vex why they should fear ghosts. Admiral Thompson was in the middle of organizing the station's defense when the emergency channel lit up. Unidentified ship. This is Proxima Control. You are launching without clearance. Return to dock immediately, or you will be fired upon. Proxima Control. This is Commander Walker aboard the CSS Phantom. We are moving to engage the enemy. Thompson grabbed the comm. Walker, what the hell are you doing? That ship is untested. Stand down immediately. No time, Admiral. Walker's voice came back. You wanted proof the Phantom works. Watch closely. On the tactical display, Thompson watched as the old warship moved from its dock, thrusters firing as it accelerated toward the incoming Vex fleet. All hands, Walker's voice echoed on the bridge of the Phantom as Dr. Reeves made final adjustments to the drive controls. Prepare for phase shift. Reeves looked up, fear and determination in her eyes. Drive at minimal capacity. We can hold phase for 2 minutes, maybe 3. After that, we'll need to recharge or risk a complete collapse. Walker nodded. 2 minutes will be enough for the first strike. Araya, target the lead Vex ship. All weapons ready. Target locked. Araya confirmed. Execute phase shift, Walker ordered. Let's show them what a ghost can do. The bridge lights dimmed as power diverted to the phase shift drive. A strange sensation washed over the crew, like being stretched thin across space. Through the viewports, the stars seemed to blur and shift. The CSS Phantom, a warship that shouldn't exist, vanished from normal space, and the battle for humanity's survival entered a new phase. The Phantom vanished from normal space as the phase shift drive activated. On the bridge, the crew felt a strange sensation, like being pulled in multiple directions at once. The lights dimmed to an eerie blue glow, and the view outside the ship changed. Stars became streaks of light, and solid objects appeared partially transparent. Phase shift complete, Araya announced. Currently existing at 67% in alternate dimension, 33% in normal space. Walker gripped the arms of the captain's chair, fighting a wave of nausea. Status report. All systems functioning, Lisa reported from the operations console, her voice shaky. But this feels wrong. You get used to it, said a new voice. A man in his 30s had appeared on the bridge, wearing an old Earth Defense Fleet uniform. His body flickered slightly, like a bad hologram. Araya, who is this? Walker demanded. This is my secondary interface, modeled after Lieutenant Marcus Torres, the Phantom's original weapons officer. Araya explained. I've activated it to assist with combat operations. The Taurus hologram nodded. The phase state can be disorienting for new crews. Focus on your instruments, not the view outside. What you're seeing is a blend of two dimensions. Dr. Reeves looked up from the engineering station. Fascinating. The phase shift creates a state where we can perceive normal space, but cannot fully interact with it. More importantly, Torres added, they cannot fully interact with us. We can see them, but they cannot see us. Walker leaned forward. Can we fire weapons in this state? Affirmative, Torres said with a grim smile. Our weapons are specially designed to transition from phase space to normal space upon firing. The enemy will only detect them at the moment of impact. Perfect. Walker turned to the tactical display. The Vex fleet was arranged in their standard attack formation, 3 heavy cruisers protected by smaller escort vessels. They were pounding Proxima Station's outer defenses with energy weapons. Target the lead cruiser, Walker ordered. Main rail guns. Target locked. Torres confirmed. Firing solution ready. Fire. The Phantom shuddered as the rail guns launched their projectiles. On the screen, they watched as the superheated metal slugs seemed to appear out of nowhere in normal space, slamming into the Vex cruiser's hull. The alien ship had no time to raise shields. Explosions rippled along its side. Direct hit, Torres reported. Enemy vessels sustaining critical damage. The Vex ships responded immediately, energy weapons firing wildly into empty space. Their beams passed harmlessly through areas near the Phantom, missing their target completely. They don't know where we are, Tom said with wonder from the navigation console. Reload and target their second cruiser, Walker ordered. Araya, move us to coordinates 227 Mark 43. The Phantom glided through space like the ghost it was named after, completely invisible to Vex sensors. The second volley struck the next Vex cruiser with the same devastating effect. On Proxima Station's command deck, Admiral Thompson watched in disbelief as Vex ships were being destroyed by what appeared to be weapons fire from empty space. "What am I looking at?" he demanded. "Unknown, sir," his tactical officer replied. "Sensors detect weapons impacts, but no attacking vessel." Thompson's eyes widened as he realized what was happening. It's the Phantom. Walker actually got that damned ghost ship to work. Back on the Phantom, the crew watched as their third volley crippled another Vex vessel. 6 enemy ships had been seriously damaged or destroyed, and the rest were in disarray, firing blindly into space. Suddenly, warning lights flashed across the bridge consoles. Phase shift drive is overheating, Dr. Reeves reported, her fingers moving frantically over the controls. Power fluctuations in the main matrix. How long can we maintain phase? Walker asked. 1 minute, maybe less, Reeves answered. After that, we'll need to return to normal space or risk a catastrophic failure. Walker considered their options. Target their command ship, all remaining weapons, then prepare to drop out of phase behind Proxima's moon. The Phantom fired everything it had at the Vex command vessel. Rail guns, missile batteries, and point defense lasers all converged on the alien ship. Its shields flared and died under the assault, and secondary explosions tore through its hull. "Phase shift drive critical," Reeves shouted. "We need to drop out now." "Do it," Walker ordered. The strange sensation returned as the Phantom shifted back to normal space. The blue lighting returned to standard, and the view outside cleared. They had emerged behind Proxima's moon, out of sight of the remaining Vex ships. "Drive status?" Walker asked. "Cooling down," Reeves reported, wiping sweat from her forehead. "The system wasn't designed for extended use. We can't phase shift again for at least 2 hours." "It was enough," Tom said, checking the tactical display. "The Vex fleet is pulling back. They're regrouping at the edge of the system. They're scared," Torres said, his holographic form flickering. "For the first time in this war, the Vex are running away." Walker's comm channel activated. "CS Phantom, This is Admiral Thompson. What's your status? Operational but requiring cooldown, sir, Walker replied. The phase shift drive needs time to stabilize. There was a long pause before Thompson spoke again. Whatever you did out there, Walker, it worked. The Vex are retreating. Report back to Proxima when you're able. And, good work, Captain. Walker looked around at his exhausted but triumphant crew. Thank you, Admiral. We'll be home soon. As the Phantom moved out from behind the moon, the full view of the battlefield became clear. Debris from destroyed Vex ships floated in space. Proxima Station had taken damage but remained intact. And in the distance, the remaining Vex vessels were jumping to faster than light speed, leaving the system. I've analyzed the Vex communication frequencies, Lisa reported. They're sending warnings to their fleet. Listen to this. She activated the speakers. A translation of the Vex language played on the bridge. Retreat immediately. Humans have deployed unknown weapon technology. Invisible attacker. Phantom vessel. Cannot defend. Walker couldn't help but smile. Phantom vessel. They named us well. Dr. Reeves looked up from her console with concern. The phase shift drive sustained more damage than I thought. We've pushed experimental technology beyond its limits. Can you fix it? Walker asked. Yes, but I'll need resources, proper facilities. She gestured to the engineering display. This technology is revolutionary, but it's also dangerous. One mistake, and we could end up trapped between dimensions forever. Walker nodded. We'll get you what you need. He turned to face the main viewer, watching as Proxima Station grew larger in their approach. Today was just the beginning. The Vex thought they had us beaten, but now they'll be looking over their shoulders. Torres finished, his holographic face serious, waiting for the ghost to strike again. The CSS Phantom, the warship that shouldn't exist, had just changed the course of the war. Word of the ghost warship spread quickly through the remaining human colonies and military outposts. Though officially denied by Earth Defense Fleet Command, stories of the impossible victory at Proxima Station gave people something they hadn't felt in years: hope. In the 2 weeks since that first battle, the CSS Phantom had been moved to a secure dock deep within Proxima Station. Engineers and scientists worked around the clock to study its technology and repair the damaged phase shift drive. Commander Walker, now officially promoted to captain, stood in the newly established Situation Room adjacent to the Phantom's dock. Admiral Thompson and several high-ranking officers were gathered around a holographic display showing the latest Vex fleet movements. They're being cautious, Thompson observed. Smaller attack groups, more scouts. They're looking for us. For the Phantom, specifically, Walker corrected. They don't know if we have 1 ghost ship or 100. Dr. Reeves entered the room, looking tired but excited. The phase shift drive is back to 84% efficiency, she announced. And I think I've solved the overheating problem. How? Thompson asked. By linking the drive to the ship's AI core, Reeves explained. ARIA can make micro-adjustments to the phase state thousands of times per second, keeping the system balanced. It's not perfect, but we should be able to maintain phase for up to 15 minutes now instead of just 3. Walker nodded. 15 minutes is enough time to do serious damage. Thompson turned to the other officers. Opinions. Colonel Harris, commander of Proxima's fighter squadrons, spoke first. The Phantom gives us an advantage we desperately need, but it's just 1 ship. The Vex still outnumber us 100 to 1. 1 ghost is all we need to haunt them, Walker said. We hit them fast, then disappear before they can respond. ARIA, and I have been developing new tactics we're calling Ghost Protocol. He activated the main display, showing battle simulations. The key is unpredictability. We never attack the same way twice. Sometimes we strike military targets, sometimes supply lines. We appear, cause chaos, and vanish. A guerrilla war in space, Thompson mused. It could work, at least until the Vex develop countermeasures. They're already trying. Reeves said. "Our intelligence reports show they're deploying new scanner technology on their ships. They call them Phantom Hunters." Walker wasn't surprised. The Vex were known for their adaptability. Their entire military doctrine was based on overwhelming force and predictive algorithms. The Phantom had thrown those algorithms into chaos. "Then we need to make our moves count," he said. "And we need a larger crew. The volunteers from the salvage team have done well, but they're not trained for extended combat operations." Thompson nodded. "I'll put out a call for volunteers from across the fleet, but keep it quiet. Officially, the Phantom still doesn't exist." Over the next month, the Phantom's crew grew as experienced officers and specialists volunteered for the high-risk assignment. The ship's legend grew with each successful mission, striking Vex supply convoys, destroying communication relays, and even rescuing human prisoners from a Vex processing center. Each time, they returned to Proxima Station with minimal damage, refining their tactics and pushing the phase shift technology to its limits. Dr. Reeves worked closely with ARIA to improve the system, making it more stable with each upgrade. Lieutenant Marcus Torres, ARIA's holographic interface, became an essential part of the crew. His knowledge of the Phantom's original systems proved invaluable, and many of the crew had started treating him as a real person despite knowing he was just an AI projection. "They're adapting faster than expected," Torres told Walker during a tactical meeting in the captain's quarters. The hologram pointed to sensor data from their last mission. "These energy signatures show their Phantom Hunters are getting closer to detecting our phase signature." Walker frowned. "How much time do we have before they can track us?" "Hard to say. Weeks, maybe months. The good news is they can only detect us when we're actively phase shifting. Then we need to make our attacks shorter and more precise," Walker decided. "No more extended engagements." Dr. Reeves, who had been quietly listening, spoke up. "There's another option. I've been studying the phase shift technology more deeply. What if we could adjust the frequency of the shift? Move to a slightly different dimensional plane each time." "Is that possible?" Walker asked. "Theoretically," she said. "The original designers built the system with multiple frequency options, but they never had time to test them all before the ship was reported destroyed." "It's worth trying," Torres agreed. "The more unpredictable we are, the harder it will be for them to counter us." Walker nodded. "Make it happen. We have a mission to the Arcturus mining colony in 2 days. We'll test the new frequencies then." The Arcturus mission started smoothly. The Phantom phase shifted into the system undetected and moved toward the mining colony, which had been occupied by Vex forces 6 months earlier. Their goal was to destroy the refined fuel storage facilities, which supplied the Vex fleet in this sector. Walker stood on the bridge, watching as they approached their target. Status of the new phase frequency: "Stable," Reeves reported from the engineering station. "We're operating at a slightly different dimensional variance than before. The Vex scanners shouldn't be able to detect us." "Shouldn't is not the same as won't," Tom mourned from the navigation console. "I'm picking up 3 Vex cruisers in orbit around Arcturus. One of them has the energy signature of a Phantom Hunter." "Maintain course," Walker ordered. "We'll proceed as planned." They moved closer to the planet, phase shifted and invisible to normal sensors. The Phantom's weapons were primed and ready to fire on the fuel storage facilities below. "Target locked," Torres reported. "Ready to fire on your command." "Fire," Walker ordered. The Phantom's railguns launched their projectiles toward the planet's surface. As they watched the storage tanks explode in huge fireballs, warning alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. "Energy spike from the Phantom Hunter," Lisa shouted. "They're firing directly at us." Before Walker could order evasive maneuvers, an energy beam struck the Phantom precisely as it adjusted its phase state. The ship shuddered violently, consoles exploding in showers of sparks. Phase shift drive destabilizing. Reeves called out, fighting to control the damage. "We're fluctuating between dimensions." On the main viewer, Walker saw the Phantom becoming partially visible in normal space, then fading out again, like a light flickering on and off. "Get us out of here," he ordered. Emergency jump to coordinates Alpha 7. Tom tried to engage the engines, but more alarms sounded. "Main propulsion offline. We're drifting." Walker made a quick decision. "Full power to emergency thrusters. Get us behind that moon." Area. Initiate complete shutdown of the phase shift drive. As the crippled Phantom limped toward the small moon orbiting Arcturus, Walker knew they were in serious trouble. Stranded behind enemy lines with a critically damaged ship, their ghost might soon become truly spectral. "Phase shift drive offline," Area announced. "Ship stable in normal space." But they weren't safe yet. The Vex Phantom Hunter was already changing course, heading toward their position. "All hands," Walker called over the ship-wide comm. "Prepare for emergency landing. This is going to be rough." 3 months had passed since the CSS Phantom disappeared near Arcturus. Many believed the ghost ship had finally met its end, joining the long list of human vessels destroyed in the war. Admiral Thompson had ordered search parties, but with Vex forces controlling the area, they found nothing. At Proxima Station, hope faded with each passing day. Still nothing. Colonel Harris asked as he joined Thompson at the observation deck. Below them, engineers worked on conventional ships, preparing for what might be humanity's last stand. Thompson shook his head. "Nothing. It's been too long." Walker was resourceful, Harris said. "If anyone could survive behind enemy lines." An alarm cut him off. The station's sensors had detected multiple ships jumping into the system. "Vex fleet," the announcement blared. "Battle stations. This is not a drill." Thompson raced to the command center, watching as the tactical display showed enemy ships, at least 30 vessels, appearing at the edge of the system. "All defenses online," Harris ordered as he took his position. "Prepare for—" "Sir," the communications officer interrupted. "I'm picking up a transmission on an Earth Defense Fleet frequency." "Put it through," Thompson ordered, confused. A familiar voice filled the command center. "Proxima Station, this is Captain Walker of the CSS Phantom. Request immediate clearance to approach. We're coming in hot with company." Thompson couldn't believe it. "Walker, where the hell have you been? And what company?" "No time to explain, sir," Walker replied. "But you might want to prepare a welcome party for about 20 angry Vex ships." The tactical display updated, showing the Phantom emerging from faster-than-light travel, leading the entire Vex fleet directly into Proxima's defensive perimeter. "He's insane," Harris muttered. "He's bringing them right to us." Thompson wasn't so sure. Walker wouldn't risk the station without a plan. "Activate all defenses, but hold fire until my command." As the Phantom raced toward the station with the Vex fleet in pursuit, Walker's voice came through again. "Admiral, now would be a good time to activate those phase shift beacons Dr. Reeves sent you the plans for." Thompson blinked in surprise. "The what?" His chief engineer stepped forward. "Sir, we received technical data from the Phantom 2 weeks ago. Dr. Reeves included plans for small-scale phase shift devices. We've been manufacturing them, but deploy them now," Thompson ordered. Throughout the system, small devices previously placed in strategic positions activated. As the Vex ships passed through these areas, strange distortions appeared in space around them. 3 Vex cruisers were immediately torn apart as localized dimensional shifts ripped through their hulls. "It worked," Walker's excited voice announced. "The Phantom is docking now, sir. I believe we have some catching up to do." In the main conference room of Proxima Station, Walker stood before the assembled military leadership. His uniform was worn and patched, his face thinner than before, but his eyes burned with the same determination. Beside him, Dr. Reeves activated a holographic display showing technical schematics. The Torres hologram stood on Walker's other side, now able to project outside the Phantom thanks to upgrades made by Reeves. "When we were forced to land on that moon," Walker explained, "we thought we were finished. The Vex Phantom Hunter was closing in, and our phase shift drive was damaged beyond our ability to repair it with the tools we had. But then we discovered something, Reeves continued. In a sealed compartment of the ship that ARIA had kept locked, on orders from the original captain, we found these. She gestured to the schematics. Complete plans for mass-producing smaller versions of the phase technology. Taurus's hologram nodded. The Phantom was never meant to fight alone. It was designed to be the flagship of a Phantom fleet, vessels that could strike from beyond the veil of reality. We spent 3 months hiding, repairing what we could, and studying these plans, Walker said. We managed to build a few prototype devices from parts salvaged from the Phantom itself. That's how you escaped? Thompson asked. Walker smiled. We placed our homemade phase shift beacons around the Vex patrol ships. When activated, they created dimensional distortions that disabled their engines long enough for us to steal one of their faster-than-light communication buoys and send you the plans. And then you led them here, Harris said. Right into our trap. Exactly, Walker confirmed. The phase shift technology has been successfully replicated in smaller forms. Fighters, torpedoes, and even infantry armor. We can mass-produce these now. Thompson looked amazed. You're telling me we can outfit our entire remaining fleet with this technology? Not quite, Reeves cautioned. The power requirements are still significant. But we can create a squadron of phase-capable vessels, enough to take the fight back to the Vex. Thompson stood, decision made. Make it happen. Captain Walker will lead this new Phantom fleet. Colonel Harris, assign your best pilots for training on the new systems. Walker saluted. Thank yous, sir. 2 months later, humanity launched its first coordinated counterattack against the Vex. A squadron of 30 ships, retrofitted with phase shift technology, followed the Phantom into what became known as the Battle of the Seven Suns. Walker stood on the bridge of the Phantom, watching as his fleet dropped in and out of phase, striking Vex positions across 7 star systems simultaneously. The human vessels appeared and disappeared across the battlefield, striking with precision and vanishing before retaliation. The Vex are falling back in all sectors, Torres reported, his holographic form now permanently installed on the Phantom's bridge. Their tactics rely on predicting enemy movements. They can't fight what they can't see or predict. Phase shift drive functioning at optimal levels, Reeves reported from the engineering station. Her modifications had made the system more stable than ever. All fleet vessels reporting successful phase operations. The main viewer showed the massive Vex flagship, a structure that had terrorized human colonies for years, now surrounded by ghostly human warships that materialized simultaneously. Open a channel, Walker ordered. Lisa nodded. Channel open, Captain. Walker stood from his chair. Attention Vex command vessel. This is Captain James Walker of the Earth Defense Fleet. Your forces are surrounded, your tactical advantage neutralized. We offer you one chance to surrender. There was a long pause before the Vex responded. A series of electronic pulses that ARIA translated. They're asking how this is possible, Torres said with a grim smile. They want to know what we are. Walker nodded. Tell them this. You called us a dying species, but here's what you never understood. Humanity doesn't just survive. We adapt. We take what should destroy us and turn it into our salvation. Remember this day. Remember the ghosts you created. As the Vex flagship powered down its weapons in surrender, Walker looked around the Phantom's bridge, at the ship that shouldn't exist, but now ruled the battlefield, and gave the order to stand down weapons. The war wasn't over, but for the first time, humanity was no longer fighting for survival. They were fighting to win. In the darkness of space, the CSS Phantom led its spectral fleet home, a legend brought to life. The ghost warship that shouldn't exist had changed the course of history forever.